In this video, I want to talk about the first derivative of calculus and do a particular example that I think has a beautiful graph and allows us to use the product rule when finding the derivative. So let's go ahead and look at our function and its graph. So the function we're going to look at is f of x equals e to the x times x squared. And I just think this thing has a beautiful graph. Now, you may notice some things in particular, and I'm going to highlight them now. So if we draw where this function is increasing in green and where it is decreasing in red, we see that over the interval negative infinity to negative 2, it's increasing, and also from 0 to infinity. And then from negative 2 to 0, it's decreasing. Let's develop a mathematical tool that allows us to find this anywhere. So let's go ahead and take the derivative of the function, and like I said, we're going to use the product rule. So we're going to take the derivative of the first times the second plus the first times the derivative of the second. And then I'm going to factor this out so it cleans up quite nicely. And what we'll see is we have three terms, x times e to the x times x plus 2. Now if I figured out where each of those pieces were 0, then I would by no coincidence end up with the values negative 2 and 0. So I'm going to put those on a number line, and I also want to notice that if I was to plug in values in those intervals, I might get something interesting. So let's first create our number line. Here we go. And if I plug in something like negative 3, I get a positive. For negative 1, I get a negative value. And if I plug in 1, I would get another positive value. And this is exactly a sign chart that we would have from calculus. So if I notice, that maps directly over to where my function was increasing and decreasing. Let me draw those back in for you. So from negative infinity up to negative 2, and also from 0 to infinity, my function was increasing. And from negative 2 to 0, my function was decreasing. And this is exactly the first derivative test. The first derivative allows us to figure out when our function is increasing or decreasing over a particular interval.